Hello, beautiful, wonderful, amazing butterflies. I miss you guys so much. I hope you're all doing okay, staying home and everything. I know it's been hard, but we can get through this. So let's start our day like we usually start our day. Ready? Let's do it. Rub your hands, sit up tall, take a deep breath. Good job, you guys. So this week is kind of a special week because this week we're celebrating Earth Day. Earth Day is so important to remember how great our Earth really is. First of all, what planet do we live on, guys? Do you remember? That's right, we live on planet Earth. So do you think it's important for us to take care of our Earth? Yes, it is. It's so important. And there's lots of ways we can take care of our Earth, just little ways to help. One of which is recycling. Recycling is such an important thing. So when you're done with something, some things go in the trash, but some things you can recycle. And that way they can get used again, and we don't do any waste. Now, there's some other really cool ways that you can help our Earth. One is plants. Plants are so important. Plants are so cool because we breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. And what plants do is they take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. So it's so important for us to have plants because they help us breathe. There was one scientist who did a really cool experiment. He put a spider in a jar like this and closed it really tight. And then after a little while, there was no oxygen in there and the spider was having a really hard time breathing. So what this scientist did is he took a plant and put it in a jar with the spider to see what would happen. Then he sealed it up tight and saw what happened. And what happened was the spider could breathe because the plant was giving off oxygen. So if you ever want to do a cool experiment, you could put some soil in a jar like this and plant a plant in there and close it up, and it's like a terrarium. All right, another awesome thing is to just stop wasting. How about like when you brush your teeth, just to make sure to turn the water off instead of leaving it on the whole time you're brushing your teeth. Or when you leave a room, make sure to turn your light off so you're not wasting electricity. All right, guys, good job. There's some other cool things you can do too, like a fun experiment is you take a wet paper towel and you can put different kinds of seeds or beans in it, and then you tape it to the window so that it can have water from the wet paper towel, the seed, and sunlight. And if it's got sunlight, water, and a place to be, it will grow, and it's pretty cool to watch if you guys would like to do that science experiment at home. So today we're going to read this really cool book called The Secrets of Our Earth. And I think we read this in class a couple times together, but I thought this was the perfect book to read to learn more about our Earth and how awesome it is. So this is a pretty special book because there's secrets inside and you shine a light behind it. So let's see what happens. This book is called Secrets of Our Earth, a Shine a Light book by Karen Brown and Wesley Robbins. Earth is the world where we live. Journey to polar lands, dive beneath the ocean waves, and explore rainforests and deserts to see the wonders of our beautiful planet. Shine a flashlight behind the page or hold it up to the light to reveal what is hidden in and around each landscape. Discover a world of amazing surprises. What is this hot, fiery ball in space? Is it the sun? Let's see. No, it's the inside of Earth. The inside is hot, but we live on the outside, which is much cooler. The sun is a star that gives Earth heat and light. It rises in the sky at dawn. Can you see the whole sun? Let's see. The higher higher the sun climbs in the sky, the brighter it gets as night turns into day. Mountains are the highest places on Earth. It is cold this far up and it often snows. Can you see a really big mountain? Let's see if we can see it. Whoa! Here it is. A group of hikers is climbing the mountain. They need to be careful. It's very steep. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Volcanoes are mountains that blow their tops. What is shooting out of this volcano? Or the volcano? It's lava! Lava is hot, melted rock from inside the earth. It surges through tunnels inside the volcano. Whoosh. Rivers flow from the land to the sea. Water in rivers comes from rain and snow. What's making a splash behind that cliff? Let's look, guys. Whoa! It's a waterfall! River water falls down a cliff into the ocean below. Roar! All animals and plants need water to live. Most of Earth's water is in the salty oceans. Which animals live below the waves? Let's see. Many animals, both tiny and huge, live in oceans. There are fish, turtles, dolphins, corals, crabs, and many more. It is very cold and icy at the far north and south of our Earth. Huge icebergs float in the southern ocean. Can you see the whole iceberg? There is much more ice below the surface of the water. Penguins catch fish and whales eat tiny creatures called krill. The seashore is where the sea meets the land. Can you find rocks and sand here? Can you see the sand? This beach is made of sand. Sand is made of tiny bits of rock and minerals that wash up on the shore. Deserts are the driest places on Earth. It hardly ever rains. Many sandy deserts are very hot during the day. Where do some animals go to keep cool? Do we live in a desert, you guys? Yes, we do. All right, let's see. It is cooler under the sand. These jerboas live in tunnels underground. They come out at night when it's cold. Grasslands are large, flat areas where few trees grow. Elephants eat grasses, which they pull up with their long trunks. Who is watching them? All right, hold on. A group of meerkats is keeping watch. They look out for danger and call to each other if they spot trouble. Rainforests are wet all year round. Lots of plants grow in them. We eat many rainforest fruits, such as bananas and pineapples. What else eats fruit? Whoa, munch, munch, munch. Spider monkeys climb up high to eat fruit from trees. Thousands of different types of animals live in the rainforest. It is stormy. The gray clouds are full of raindrops and lots of rainfalls. What kind of storm is this? Let's see. Whoa, crack, rumble. It's a thunder and lightning storm. Lightning is a bolt of electricity in the sky. After the lightning flashes, there is a rumble of thunder. Wind is air moving around Earth. It can be gentle breeze or a mighty gale. What machines turn in the wind? The blades of wind turbines are turned by wind to make electricity. People live all around the world, mostly in towns and cities. Big cities are busy and crowded. How many people can you see on this train? Let's see. Let's see. Can you guys count? It's kind of hard to see. Let's see. Did you count 10 people? People come in many shapes, sizes, and ages. They speak different languages too. Night is falling, the sky turns red, and the clouds turn purple as the sun sets. What can you see behind the clouds? Whoa. The moon and stars are up in space. Shooting stars are pieces of space rock. They burn up as they travel towards the earth. A new day begins on this side of the world as night falls on the other side. Wonderful things happen all around Earth every second of every day. What surprises will tomorrow bring? And that's the end. All right, good job, you guys. Your challenge is to find a way to either love our Earth or to appreciate our Earth. Maybe you see a flower that you love and you look at it and you make an observation. Maybe you decide to recycle something, or maybe you decide to just turn the water off when you're brushing your teeth. Whatever you guys decide to do, I know it'll be great. All right, let's go just look at some fun stuff. All right, hey guys, so this is my boyfriend Trevor, and he's gonna help me with our next experiment. What do you have to tell us?
We're gonna talk about fire for a second. So I drew up a little triangle for you guys. This triangle is what you need to make fire. So anytime you see fire, you have to have at least 3 elements. The 3 elements of the fire are oxygen, just like the oxygen that you're breathing right now. And of course heat, something to start the fire. And you need fuel, something that burns. So if you don't have all 3 of those, you will not have a fire. So also want to talk a little bit about safety since we're talking about it. You guys have probably heard your parents or somebody say stop, drop, and roll if you're ever on fire, and that's true. So the first thing you want to do is stop, don't move, lay down on the ground and roll around. And that's stop, drop, and roll in a nutshell. That's all it is. The other really important thing is to know the plan if you're at home or at school. If there's going to be a fire, know the plan, know where to go, and make sure that you practice. Ask your parents, get some practice time in, and let's get to the fun stuff.
Well, that's why we have fire drills at school and at home, though. So that's a good way to practice. Okay, so let's do the fun stuff. Okay, so I have 2 balloons here. One is filled with just air that I blew up, and the other one is filled with water. So we're going to do an experiment to see if we put a candle by a balloon, what will happen? What do you guys think will happen to the one that's filled with air or the one that's filled with water? So the one filled with water represents our Earth, because our Earth is made of mostly water. And what happens is our sun is so hot, just like fire, much hotter than fire, and it warms up our Earth. And what do you think will happen? Let's see. All right, what happens to the balloon when fire touches it? Woo! That's what happened. The balloon will pop. Now, what do you think will happen to the balloon with water in it? Let's see, just like our Earth. Whoa, and it doesn't pop. So something to know about Earth and Earth Day is that because our ozone layer is getting a little bit depleted, that the sun is able to find weak points. And what happens is the water soaks up all of that heat, and that's why our oceans are getting so much warmer than they were before. All right, good job, guys. Maybe you could ask your parents, make sure you never touch fire.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about the Earth and gases and pressure, and then we're going to do some more stuff with fire in a minute. So just bear with me for a minute. Just want to talk about the stuff that's in the air that you're breathing around you. So we live on this great planet Earth, and one of the coolest things about it is all these gases that are around us when we breathe. So the stuff you're breathing in is not always just oxygen. The oxygen is what makes your body work and all that, but there's other stuff in the air, because only 21%, so not even that much of what you're breathing into your lungs right now is made up of oxygen. The other 78%, or another 78%, is something called nitrogen. Nitrogen is really light and is very common. It's actually the most common thing in our atmosphere. And the rest of it is made up of stuff like carbon dioxide and some other stuff that's maybe not so good. But Miss Amelia told you about that in our pollution part. So you go back to that to learn a little bit more about that. And now pressure is something that is basically keeping us down, like gravity, except in this case we're talking about like a vacuum type pressure. You know, when you do the floors with the vacuum and it pulls all the stuff up out of the ground? Well, the same kind of thing happens when you introduce fire to an oxygen, less oxygen environment. So when you don't have any more oxygen going into an environment and you take all the oxygen out of it, it turns into a vacuum. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right to me. So guys, so something cool about our Earth too is that because of pressure, our Earth has different kinds of weather because of pressure. So that's called barometric pressure. So when a storm comes in, there becomes a different kind of pressure than like right now when there isn't any storms. So our Earth works on gases, pressure, and all kinds of other really cool things. So we're going to do an experiment to show you how oxygen and pressure can do some really cool things. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah. So we'll start with one candle. We're going to do this a couple different times. So we've got birthday candles in hard-boiled eggs and a glass container. So remember I mentioned that when you have an environment that doesn't have enough oxygen in it, the fire can't sustain. And what did we talk about earlier with the fire triangle? If you don't have all three parts of that triangle, the fire doesn't work. So what you're going to see looks really cool right now. It's going to put the fire out. And then if everything goes well and the pressure changes like it should, just like what happened for a storm to be created, you're going to get an egg somewhere where it wasn't when it started. So we're going to light this candle and we're going to see what happens.
Okay. Oh. Got it?
Yep.
Let's see what happens.
So there goes our fire. So it didn't go all the way in, but hopefully when you guys could see, when the fire went out, that pressure that was getting put on the egg wasn't from my hand. I was just holding it there so that it didn't fall out before that pressure change happened. And what it started to do was just suck it in, because there's no oxygen left in here for this to burn. So we created a vacuum inside this jar right now.
All right, let's try it again. This time with 2 candles. Do you guys think it'll go any different? Will it be faster? Will it be slower? Will the egg make it all the way in? Let's see.
All right, guys, 2 candles. We ready?
Oh wait, I should do this. Come on, it's a little wet.
So we still have oxygen. It's going way.
Oh! Almost. I think we just had too tight of a section. All right.
So it worked. It looked like that second time with the 2 candles went a little bit faster.
I think so too. So why do you guys think it went a little bit faster? Maybe because it burned up more oxygen quickly? More faster than the one? I don't know. Alright guys, so experiments are awesome and sometimes it can even look kind of like magic. But science is amazing. And I would like you guys to go out there and do some science experiments and see if you can figure out anything about our Earth that's super cool. Alright, good job guys.
Alright guys, we got another one for you. We're still working with fire and pressure, and we'll go back to the fire triangle. Remember, you need 3 things for a fire to work. You have to have oxygen, you have to have heat, and you have to have fuel. So what we're gonna do right now is take away the oxygen part of the triangle. So we're gonna have just two sides of the triangle, and we're gonna see what it does with a paper plate into this much bigger jar. So it's gonna take a little bit more fire, and we're gonna see what happens to this paper plate. So if you guys have any predictions, let us know.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
All right,
Let's
do
see
it.
what happens. Let's see what happens.
All right, guys. Jar goes on top.
Oh. 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 Now all
Ready?
the oxygen's gone. Oh.
Oh.
Hmm.
So sometimes science experiments fail, and that's okay because we're gonna figure out another way to do it, and we're gonna try it again and see if we can make it look even better for you guys.
All right, let's try it again.
All right, guys, we're gonna try this again. So we changed a couple things. The last time we did this, when we were not able to create that suction that we were looking for, we used 5 candles. Now we have 2, 4, 6, 8 candles. So we stepped that up just a little bit, put them a little closer together, and we also flipped the plate over. So the last time we had it, I've got the other plate over here, the plate was upside down. So you've got a little bit of a difference there. So we changed a couple things up with the experiment, and we're gonna give this one a try to see if we can create that oxygen deprived environment. So it's gonna take all the oxygen out of the environment and create a vacuum, which in my hypothesis is gonna allow us to pick up this plate and hold it straight up and down. No magic, just science. We're gonna see what happens.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so we've got our candles going. We've got our fire triangle of heat, oxygen, and fuel. The fuel came from the lighter, now it's coming from the candles. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on there, and I'll try to pick it up so I can show you guys a little bit better, but we'll see what happens with the plate. See if my hypothesis is right.
Oh.
So all the oxygen should be out of that plate by now. We're gonna see if it was enough to create enough suction inside there to hold onto the plate. It didn't work. So now we just have a smoky jar.
So why do you guys think it didn't work? Was it maybe there wasn't enough seal on the plate? Was it we changed too many variables? So that means different things of our experiment. Did we add too many candles, not enough candles? Should we not be using a plate at all? I don't know. So when you do experiments, you have hypotheses. So that's something that means an educated guess or something that you hope or think might happen in your experiment. And then you see what happens. And then sometimes you have to change different things to different variables to see if that can make your hypothesis correct or incorrect. So I think we can try this one more time and see if it works.
Yeah, I think we got one more.
All right.
All right, guys, so we changed it up one more time to see if we could make a difference in our experiment since it hasn't been working. That's my dog Crow. So we have 5 candles on this plate. The plate's upside down again. And then around it we put coconut oil because we found it inside and it seems like it might create a seal. So what we mean when we say a seal is we get it so that it creates no gaps in between the plate and our jar. So we want the jar to meet the plate and stick to it. So we're gonna light these candles up and see if we can do it on our last attempt. While I light the candles, I want you guys to think about a hypothesis or an educated guess about what is gonna happen this time. Do you think that the candles are enough? And do you think that the coconut oil will change the seal around our jar? What do you think?
I'm not sure. I think this time we only changed, what, one variable from our first experiment? So
Just
we're
one.
trying to move it backwards to see if we just change one variable. Sometimes when you just change one thing at a time, it works a little better than changing multiple things at a time. So let's see if this will work. It sounded good.
I'm gonna hold it down and see if we can get that seal in there. So we've lost our oxygen. Let's give it an extra second too. I'm gonna get my hands out of the way, make sure you guys can see that the fire's out. So there's no oxygen left in there. There go the candles. They're starting to move. You're not gonna be able to see that, I don't think, but the candles are actually moving inside, which means that there's a pressure change. What do you think? We got it?
I think this time we have it.
All right,
I
let's
hope
give it a
so.
shot.
Oh,
Oh, just a little bit.
Only for a second.
So guys, my analysis of this is that the seal makes the difference. Miss Amelia was right. We needed something to seal it down. So if we had something that would make this stick better, I really think it would work because it's doing the same exact thing as the egg. It just has less of a seal around it. You agree?
I totally agree. And I also think that it's important to know that sometimes our hypothesis is wrong, and that's totally okay. We did an experiment. We tried 3 different ways, and it didn't work, and that's totally okay. So sometimes we're wrong, and that's totally fine. So a fun thing you can do at home is make a pollution catcher. So something you might have seen is maybe your moms and dads have taken one of these down before. This is an air filter, and what it does is it takes in air and then it filters out the gross stuff. As you can see, this one's kind of dirty, and this shows all the stuff that we breathe in every day. So we breathe in dust particles and dirt and even some pollution, and it can look like this, and that's why we have to change them all the time. So a fun thing you can do at home is take a paper plate, do a coloring of maybe the earth or whatever you want, and then you can rub some petroleum jelly or Vaseline all over the other side of the plate, hang it up somewhere, and see what kind of particles get stuck to it. Do you think there's going to be some dirt? Maybe you have a dog at your house. Do you think there'll be hair stuck to it? What kinds of things do you think you're breathing in at home? Alright guys, thank you so much for watching our Earth Day video and doing some experiments with us. So, Trevor is going to be joining me tomorrow for something super cool. We're going to be doing some more experiments, but this time we're going to be playing with something called dry ice, which is actually carbon dioxide that's in a solid form. Anything else you want to add?
We're gonna have some fun tomorrow. You guys will enjoy it.
Thanks. Love you. Bye.